First up tonight, how does union leader John Setka think for one moment it's acceptable to act like a bully boy threatening a sports leader because he and his thuggish union mates didn't like what that leader did to them in a previous job? Who else in Australia would get away with this sort of threatening behaviour other than Setka, one of the most reviled union leaders in the history of Australia? Setka loves to be portrayed as this powerful union overlord defending the rights of the downtrodden workers, all being preyed upon by heartless capitalist bosses ripping them off. That's Setka's shtick. In truth, he heads a union that has benefited from its support of the Victorian Labor Party by locking up major government infrastructure projects for his union members, where it was revealed recently that stop-go sign holders were earning over $200,000 a year because they were in that union. Those projects, by the way, are almost without exception over budget and are running late and sending Victoria broke. So what's Setka up to this time? Well, you won't believe it. According to the Australian newspaper today, great work, Setka is going to use union muscle to attack the Australian Football League. Why? Well, the AFL has the hide to apparently employ as its head of umpiring a bloke by the name of Stephen McBurney. Most, if not all, AFL fans would never have heard of this bloke McBurney, which makes Setka's attack on him even more bizarre and threatening. Now, McBurney once ran the coalition government's Australian Building and Construction Commission, or the ABCC as it was commonly known, a body charged with investigating union corruption activities in the building game. Now, this body that helped curtail out of control and often coercive activity by unions, including Setka's branch of the CFMEU, was of course axed by the new Albanese government as a sop to the union donations to Labor. It's one of the first things Anthony Albanese did. So what has the charming Mr Setka decided to do as payback for ABCC investigations into his union that cost them millions of dollars when it was operating? Well, and it's incredible in this day and age you can get away with this stuff. He's threatened the AFL will have go-slows on any project his union is involved in until it sacks their head of umpiring. It's blatant blackmail, it's a thuggish threat, and it's something if Albanese and his union-loving mates hadn't cancelled the ABCC would have been investigated. But as usual with this union boss, the threat comes with a bunch of foul-mouthed bluster. Setka told The Australian, "We have an obligation to pursue anti-union, anti-worker effers like him, and we will until the end of the earth. This is going to cost the AFL a lot of effing money, and I hope it's worth it. Projects without our full cooperation are going to be an effing misery for them. They will regret the day they ever employed him." I mean, that's out-and-out union thuggery right there on display. But it got worse. This is the real world. This is Setka again. This is the real world. We go after our enemies, and he was our number one enemy, and we will pursue him to the ends of the earth. Now, I can't wait to hear a response from Tony Burke, the Industrial Relations Minister, as to whether he thinks that is acceptable behaviour, but I won't hold my breath. The AFL, in a statement, and good on them, they say they will support McBurney in his role. By the way, as a senior umpire, McBurney was in charge of 400 games, including 4 grand finals as an umpire. Now, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Labor scrapped the ABCC, or at the behaviour of Setka, his history is infamous. On a picket line of a construction site being built by the construction giant Grocon, I'll remind you that Setka was fined for punching the windscreen of a van driven by a Grocon manager and telling that manager that he, Setka, hoped he would die of cancer and threatening to come after him. And in 2017, Setka again issued a warning to ABCC inspectors that he would reveal their home addresses, adding their kids will be ashamed of their parents when we expose all these ABCC inspectors. As they say, a leopard doesn't change its spots.